everybody! So today we are at the next in my series of Disney Canon reviews, and we are looking at one of probably the most popular Disney films in the Walt Disney Animated Studios canon. We are looking at the 31st animated classic, Aladdin. Aladdin debuted in 1992 to great success, great acclaim, won some Oscars, got some nominations, and it's a very, very enjoyable Disney animated film. I like it very much. I don't love it as much as some other people do. I've heard a lot of people say that it's their favorite Disney animated film. I've heard a lot of people say that's in their top 10. And I totally respect that, and I can totally see why. There's a couple things that I think hold it back a little bit for me, but we're really talking about nitpicking at this point a little bit, because it is very enjoyable altogether film. And so it's interesting with this film because you had it started, the idea process, with Howard Ashman and Alan Menken. Well, of course, Howard Ashman passed away, so that's when Tim Rice came on board and became the lyricist for the film. And this, of course, was directed and co-written by Ron Clements and John Musker, who did The Great Mouse Detective, did The Little Mermaid, and so they have quite a hit streak going. It wasn't until a little later that they started to have some little bumps in their resume as far as hits go. But we have another great movie from them, and this is an interesting film because it is a film about with a lead male character, which we hadn't had for a couple movies. We'd had female lead characters, although most Disney movies have male lead characters. That's a little bit of a fallacy. There's not as many princess movies as people think. And so this was kind of, it had been a couple, and so this was kind of a back to having Aladdin. Yeah, we get introduced to Aladdin as this young man who is raised kind of on the streets. He's a street rat, as they like to call him, and he's sort of scrappy. He thinks he's better than everybody else. He's kind of cocky, and he even steals bread. He says in the song, it's the One Step song, which I really enjoy, but you gotta steal to eat, you gotta eat to live, you gotta steal to eat. And I'm not sure exactly why that's the case. Why not he get a job? But nevertheless, that's kind of the character that we're presented with this Aladdin. And he's kind of a diamond in the rough is sort of the theme throughout the film. And so he starts out as this guy, and you really do see a nice sort of character arc, I think, through the course of the film. And then you also meet Jasmine, who is the princess, who's tired of getting shut in. She sneaks out because she keeps rejecting all the suitors that are presented before her, because she just thinks they're all a bunch of boring, lame, she wants to marry for love, all of this stuff, but there's this law that says that she has to be married. And so she tries to escape. Well, she ends up giving this little girl an apple. They're gonna chop off her arm. The tradesman, Aladdin, kind of saves the day, and it's kind of weird. I mean, you think she shouldn't be an idiot. She's got to know about money. They act like she doesn't even know anything about money. But nevertheless, it works. They meet, and I think that they have really good chemistry, Jasmine and Aladdin. And, she is kind of real with him. She's more herself with him. He's, very open with her. You see sort of this heart behind both of them. And so it kind of goes from there. And then we meet Jafar and his parrot, Iago. And Iago is, I think, very, very funny, voiced by Gilbert Gottfried. And I know a lot of people are annoyed by him, but I actually think he has some really good laughs and some really good moments, so I like it. And
you got a problem, Piggy? Jerk. Boy, Jafar's gonna be happy to see you.
Excellent work, Iago.
Go on.
No, really, on a scale of 1 to 10, you are an 11.
Oh, Jafar, you're too kind. I'm embarrassed. I'm blushing.
And Jafar, I think it's fine. Jonathan Freeman is the vocal performance on Jafar, and I think he does a really good job. I think it's menacing and scary. I think that his look is kind of weird. I don't know, it just doesn't really do a whole lot for me. He's kind of generic, but I'd say he's like a hair up from generic. Anyway, he's trying to get this lamp so they can have the power of the lamp and get the genie. And there's this cave of forgotten wonders, and it looks does not hold up. Like, that's one of the things, like, that I think holds back this movie a little bit, is that I think some of the backgrounds, some of the CG, some of the other things, the backgrounds are all pretty much just flat. They're just flat colors. There's just not a whole lot visually striking to me about this film. You know, some people don't care about that. I kind of care about it a little bit. And the Cave of Forgotten Wonders looks really, really dated. But nevertheless, doesn't matter that much. And so he finds out he needs to get Aladdin to go, because he's the diamond in the rough. And so Aladdin goes in there. There's all this money. There's all this gold and everything. He finds the lamp. And he finds the magic carpet in there. And he is almost able to get free. And the Abu, his monkey, touches the gold, touches the jewels, and everything starts to melt, and he zips through, and he's just about to get up there, and Jafar locks him basically in the cave, but he has the lamp. He opens the lamp, and of course now this is the true strength of this film. You get the genie. And the genie is one of the best, if not the best, animated character that's ever come out from Walt Disney Animated Studios. It is the reason Robin Williams' performance here as the genie is the reason why this movie made it onto my top 50 animated films. Without it, it's just not that special to me, I don't think, but his performance is so great. His performance is so special. It is so funny. I still think his ad-libbing works. I mean, they would just record him for hours and hours just riffing and riffing and riffing and coming up with all of these different, jokes. And his, introduction with "You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me" is unbelievable. It is a great Disney song. I can't praise it more highly.
Mr. Aladdin, sir, what will your pleasure be?
Let me take your order, jot it down.
You ain't never had a friend like me.
Life is your restaurant and
I'm your maitre d'.
come on, whisper what it is you want. You ain't never had a friend like me. Yes, sir, we pride ourselves on service. You're the boss, the king, the Shah.
We have Aladdin kind of tricking him. They get out of the cave, and that is when Aladdin wishes to become a prince. And we get Prince Ali. And this has some of my favorite Robin Williams lines in here. So hilarious. Like when he says, "Don't they look lovely, June?"
Ali, mighty is he, Ali Baba. Strong as 10 regular men, definitely.
He faced the galloping hordes.
100 bad guys with swords.
Who sent those goons to their lord?
Why, Prince Ali.
He's got 75 golden candles.
Don't they look lovely, June?
Purple peacocks, he's got 50
Fabulous, Harry. I love the feathers.
Love that, he's so good. And then of course they meet Jasmine. Before that, Aladdin asks the genie what would he wish for, and he says, "I would wish for my freedom." And that's one of the nice pieces of heart that goes along with this movie. And I think what it makes it really work is that Aladdin promises the genie that he will wish away for his freedom. And so you kind of get the story going from there. Then you have this sort of back and forth between Jafar and Aladdin, and sort of his wishes, and the different times that Jafar tries to kill Aladdin. And of course you've got A Whole New World, which I think is a little bit cheesy. Sorry, maybe that means I'm made of stone, but I really love any of the romantic ballads that won Oscars in the 90s. I don't hate them, but I think they're all a little corny. And so I would almost always, in every case, have given the Oscar to a different song. Like, I think You've Got a Friend in Me is way better than A Whole New World, but what do I know? So
I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, princess, now when did you last let your heart decide? I can open your eyes, take you wonder by wonder.
there's that song, and it's nice, it's pleasant. And you do feel like they have pretty good chemistry, although Jasmine's pretty stupid for believing Aladdin's lies about that, that he's really was a prince in disguise and everything. I think that's pretty dumb, but I guess that's what she was doing, so I guess it makes sense. But anyway, she believes it certainly longer than she should. And you just see this continual back and forth between Jafar and Aladdin and everything else. And finally, it's really Aladdin who kind of outsmarts Jafar and gets him to turn into a genie. You do get I really wish that we had a villain song. We do get a little bit of a reprise of Prince Ali from Jafar, which I think is a pretty strong moment, but I kind of wish he had his own song. I think that would have been cool. And yeah, so there's a couple things about this movie. I've talked about them a little bit that I think hold it back a little bit. Like I said, I think sort of the backgrounds, the visual interest, is the artistry just isn't as strong as other Renaissance films, in my opinion. Also, I think that some of the other characters are a little bit flat. They're not that dynamic. If you take out Robin Williams out of this movie, I just think it becomes a whole lot less special. So I think it's a little bit of a missed opportunity, sort of like Sword in the Stone, where you had the opportunity to tell the true King Arthur legend and really tell that story that the story deserves. Well, I think that in a way it's a little bit of a shame that we got such a poppy, such a modern version of Aladdin and and Alibaba and just that lore from that part of the world. I think could have been so like interesting and a little bit darker, a little bit not a comedy. And I think that it's a shame that basically all the characters look white. They all look really kind of American. They all have American voices. They all, and so, like, it's just a missed opportunity to tell a story that's really important to a whole culture of people. I think, in a way, I don't think it's as bad as Pocahontas in that regard, because they make no attempt to be historically accurate or to, be any kind of accurate depiction of the myth or at all. And so it doesn't bother me the way that Pocahontas does, where they, like, kind of try to make an attempt, so it just really doesn't sit right with me. It's not a huge thing, but things I do love about it. Robin Williams, amazing, as I already said, incredible, hilarious. The speed of the animation during those scenes is incredible. It's just something you'll never forget. You want your own genie. Also, like I said, the heart of it is great when you get that scene where Aladdin finally does decide to do the right thing and to keep his word and free the genie. It just melts your heart.
Oh, I'm free! I'm free at last! I'm hitting the road! I'm off to see the world!
Genie, I'm gonna miss you.
Me too, Al. No matter what anybody says, you'll always be a prince to me.
It makes you feel good. I also think that Iago is really funny. It works for me. I like it. And I think that there is pretty good chemistry between Aladdin and Jasmine, even though I think their characters aren't that great. And so, yeah, that is the good things I think about it. And the songs are certainly pretty good. It's more because of that riffing from Williams that I just think is hilarious. So that's sort of the pluses and the minuses, I think, of Aladdin. It's a very enjoyable film. It's probably one of Disney's most rewatchable films. It's one you can just put on and you don't mind seeing it over and over again. And so it's got a lot going for it, but I just don't think it's quite as good as a lot of other people do. So there you go. I would give Aladdin, I'm going to give it a B+. And it's a little lower than I gave on my blog, but Robin Williams had just passed, and so I was feeling a little sentimental. That's what I think it deserves, is a B+. So let me know what you think of Aladdin. Is it a favorite of yours? Put it in the comment section, and thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!